Welcome to episode 392 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills and determining whether or not they can win the AFC in 2021. But before getting to that topic, question for the video for you Bills fans and NFL fans in general. Who is the all-time sack leader in Buffalo Bills franchise history? If you know the answer, comment it below. If you do not, I will reveal the answer at the end. But getting into the topic, Buffalo Bills finished 13-3 this past season, 2020. 9 times out of 10, if you go 13-3, you're more than likely going to get a first-round bye in the playoffs. However, due to the new seedings, only one team getting a bye. They missed out on that first-round bye. Unfortunate, but it didn't really affect them completely because they got their win in the first round. So I do think they made out fine and got a little playoff experience under their belt. So moving into this season, of course, elephant in the room, Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the biggest challenge, and really, that's not even the biggest worry. There's, of course, the Cleveland Browns emerging, the Baltimore Ravens, Carson Wentz, and the Indianapolis Colts, I think very highly of. There's the Miami Dolphins in your own division, Tua Tagovailoa. If he gets the right weapons around him, like Devontae Smith or Penei Sewell or so on and so forth, or Allen Robinson, and then I think Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert are a big threat in the AFC this year. Buffalo Bills, it's not going to come easy by any means. I'm not saying are they going to get the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. I'm saying will they win the AFC and make it to the Super Bowl. So outside of all the competition on their team, they have holes and gaps within their own organization as well. Buffalo Bills, as we know, has pretty much zero run game. Their pass rush isn't the best as well. Secondary is pretty solid. Micah Hyde, tre'davious White, Josh Norman's not really half the player he used to be, but he's still a good name and good presence to have on the team. Receiver core, as we know, Stefon Diggs has really put his name in a top 5 receiver in the league this year. I do think the receiving core could use a little more help depth-wise. Yes, you have Stefon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and John Brown, but I'd like to see it more where he has just an extra weapon. But however, I don't think the Buffalo Bills' top priority should be the receiving core. It's just if you happen to have a late round draft pick and you want to see if a guy could develop and turn into a great pickup, go for it in my opinion. Josh Allen, of course, quarterback position, nothing needs to change there in the MVP race this year, and he has a good shot at winning MVP overall next year. But their biggest holes, like I said, is pass rush and running in the run game. To me, this Bills team, if they don't address either of those, there's no shot they win the AFC. I don't care what you say. You can't win football games all the way to the Super Bowl if you don't have any run game. Yes, there's teams like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, like Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, and Buffalo Bills that are pass heavy, but the Packers and Chiefs both still have run games and get pretty far. Buffalo Bills have zero run game. You're not going to make it all the way without a run game. I don't care what anyone says. So looking at their offense for the run game, to me, Buffalo Bills currently being negative in cap space. I'm sure there will be some negotiations and some things will work out and they'll have a little bit of cap space. But looking at the biggest way to address the backfield, in my opinion, would be, of course, the 2021 NFL Draft. You got Najee Harris from Alabama, Travis Etienne from Clemson, Trey Sermon from Ohio State. A lot of great running backs in this NFL Draft that they could either pick up late in the first round or possibly in the second round. I think one of those 3 might be able to fall to the second round, depending how, determined they are to get the run game fixed in the draft, or maybe they're working on defensive line in the draft and want to get running backs in free agency. To me, I understand the pivot if you don't want to draft a running back, just because you've done that in the past years with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and neither of them are working out extremely well. So you might want to look at free agency. Todd Gurley is a solid running back that's going to hit free agency. Yes, I know he's not the same guy he was in with the Rams in LA. But on the Falcons, he was a scoring machine. He didn't have the most amount of yards in the league, but he put points on the board, and that's what Buffalo Bills need from a running back, a guy that could get it in the end zone. And I think Todd Gurley will fit that hole for sure. But that's not their only option. Of course, there's Le'Veon Bell, there's Leonard Fournette. There's a lot of guys that's hitting the running back free agency market that the Bills should at least look at. To me, defensive line, this wouldn't fix it completely, but you can't tell me the Buffalo Bills aren't at least eyeing J.J. Watt being on the free agency market right now. J.J. Watt obviously wants to go to a competitor. He wants to go to a team that can win him a Super Bowl, and the Buffalo Bills, I think, can do just that if they team up and fix the running back position. However, like I said, J.J. Watt would not fix the pass rush as a whole. Still needs a little bit of help, but J.J. Watt would be not only a big piece of that defensive line as a player and because of his talent, but as a captain as well, to teach those guys on the defensive line that are struggling. And I do think he would be a huge upgrade for that team just because of his leadership and the knowledge he has at the pass rusher position that can help those guys and just change the defensive line as a whole. So to me, I do think they have a good shot at winning the AFC. However, I just think the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are so dominant right now. It's going to be hard to get past them. Even this past year, we saw the Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And I don't want to say it wasn't competitive, but it definitely wasn't like a fun game to watch that was nail-biting, that went back and forth. The Buffalo Bills had a 9-point lead and then never had a lead again. It's kind of sad. And obviously, leads are blown in the NFL. Not blaming them for that. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. But for them to not even make it really competitive after that lead, it kind of sucks because the Chiefs are just so, pass heavy, offensive heavy, and they were able to hold their own on defense. And the Bills, they weren't able to get pass rush on Mahomes. And really, that was on a Mahomes that didn't have his left tackle that game. He had turf toe. The Bills, I'm not saying they should have won, but they should have played a little bit better, and therefore I think this team is going to struggle in 2021 as well. Not saying they won't make the playoffs. They definitely have them as a playoff lock, and I do think they will win the AFC East, but I do think they will more than likely get stopped by the Kansas City Chiefs again. And if not, like I said, I think Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts are going to be a huge threat in the AFC. I think Carson Wentz will get back to his MVP form with his former offensive coordinator, Frank Wright. That's an amazing offensive line. That receiving core needs some work, but he's got a backfield, and he's got a pass rush and a great defense as a whole. Bills have a lot of holes to fill, but it's nothing really an offseason can't fix. To me, if they somehow picked up Todd Gurley, picked up J.J. Watt, and got an extra defensive pass rusher in the draft as well, this is a whole new team that might change completely. But as of right now, I just don't see them beating Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs, and I do think other teams have a good chance of beating them as well. Like I said, I think the Chargers are going to be a great team this year. I think the Colts are going to be a great team this year. Browns, Ravens, those are always threats. Of course, Big Ben and the Steelers, I don't think they'll really make it anymore. I think Big Ben might be holding the Steelers back a little bit, but that's not the point of this video. I just think there's a lot of threats in the AFC. Not saying the Bills can't go through them, but I don't think the Bills can go through them all, and I do think they will fall short of the Super Bowl in 2021, but we will see. Could be wrong. A lot of off-season left, and of course the NFL season itself hasn't even started, so who knows. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the Bills will make the Super Bowl? Will they win out in the AFC? Let me know below. But for your question of the video, who is the all-time leader in sacks for the Buffalo Bills is none other than Bruce Smith. He leads in all-time sacks in general in NFL history, one of the best defensive ends of all time. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.